Iran has made a decision, not just to challenge Israel and America, but to beat them at the very game they've dominated for decades. After the recent conflict, the world finally witnessed the raw, undeniable power of Iran's missile arsenal. Yet that was only the opening act. Because Iran isn't stopping at missiles. Right now, Tehran is quietly assembling the blueprint for the most formidable air force in the region, one powerful enough to dwarf US and Israeli air assets in both scale and capability. And here's the twist. Air power is the one weapon America and Israel depend on to intimidate nations across the world. It's their ultimate tool of pressure, their favorite toy. But for the first time ever, Iran is moving to take that toy away. So the question becomes, how does Iran plan to reach this almost unbelievable goal? What foreign deals are in motion? What secret indigenous projects are being built behind closed hangars? And how exactly is Iran preparing to flip the balance of power in the skies forever? Stay with us till the end, because what we're about to reveal has never been shown on YouTube before. But remember, we're still on YouTube, and that means we have limits. If we shared the uncensored truth, this channel wouldn't last a day. So if you want the real story, the raw, unfiltered facts that YouTube won't let us show, head over to our Telegram channel. That's where we cover everything they try to hide. The link's in the description below. I'll see you there. Most people have no idea that Iran once had a plan to build the third strongest air force on Earth, with a fleet of 1,000 to 1,200 fighter jets. This massive ambition was alive right up until the 1979 revolution. And by then, Iran already operated around 450 combat aircraft, F-4s, F-5s, and the legendary F-14 Tomcat. But secret documents later revealed by the Islamic Republic showed something even more shocking. Iran had a finalized contract with the United States to receive 300 F-16s. 80 of them were already built and ready for delivery, fully paid for by Iran. But Washington refused to hand them over and instead sent those very jets to Israel as the first batch of F-16s ever delivered there. Israel literally received its first F-16s on Iran's dime. And it gets even crazier. Iran also had a contract to produce a lighter variant of the F-18, called the F-18L, with an insane order of 320 aircraft, plus an additional 80 F-14 Tomcats and 7 E-3 AWACS. This mega deal, valued at $8.4 billion back in the 1970s, would still rank as one of the biggest aviation contracts in US history even today. But none of it survived the revolution. Still, Iran's ambition didn't die. In 1985, Iran quietly launched its own fourth-generation fighter program, the project that eventually became Sayeh, a fighter based on the F-5 with a 15% larger body and upgraded avionics. But here's the secret nobody talks about. This entire program was led by an Iranian Air Force legend, General Mansour Satari. He wasn't just a commander, he was a visionary. His plan had 3 phases. Phase 1, build a fourth-generation fighter based on the F-5 platform. Phase 2, reverse engineer and produce an Iranian version of the F-14. Phase 3, develop a brand new fighter capable of outperforming America's top jets. So what happened? He died in a plane crash, an accident, according to Iranian officials. But in my opinion, it was an assassination by Mossad. Why? Because the aircraft he was flying, a Lockheed Jetstar, had 4 engines and was designed to keep flying even if 3 failed. It was one of the safest executive aircraft in the world, equipped with advanced warning systems and countermeasures. And the pilot was one of the best in Iran's Air Force. Yet it still crashed. You really expect us to believe that? He died just like the father of Iran's missile program, in another so-called accident. And the result? A project that should have taken 7 years. Phase 1 of Satari's plan ended up dragging on for 4 decades. Israel failed to stop Iran's missile and drone programs, but they did successfully delay Iran's fighter jet ambitions for a time. What Israel didn't know was that in the years to come, one event would completely destroy their effort to stop the rise of Iran's air force. You've probably seen Russian jets like the MiG-29, the Su-22, or the Su-25 sitting in Iran's arsenal, but the part almost no one knows is that Iran never actually bought them. These were Iraqi jets belonging to the Iraqi Air Force that fled to Iran during the American invasion. Iran took them in, but there was a serious problem from day one. They had almost no spare parts to keep them flying. Russia refused to sell those parts because they wanted to maintain their good relationship with the United States, and we all know how well that strategy worked for them. So Iran turned to Ukraine instead. For nearly 20 years, Iran invested over $100 billion into Ukraine's defense industries. Spare parts, joint production of aircraft and helicopters, even tanks. Ukraine had inherited huge Soviet-era factories, and Iran poured money into reviving them. But when a new regime took power in Kyiv, everything fell apart. They froze Iranian assets, blocked contracts, and essentially stole the money, leaving Iran with nothing but broken promises. This tension continued for years, right up until the moment the Russia-Ukraine war erupted. And that war changed everything. Because suddenly, Russia came back to Iran with an offer far better than anything Ukraine ever provided. In exchange for drones and missiles, Russia was willing to open the doors to advanced aircraft, advanced weapons, and even deeper military cooperation. And Iran accepted. Now you finally understand why Iran chose Russia's side so strongly. Any country would do the same if another nation stole $100 billion from them. Ukraine betrayed Iran first, and the price they paid later. Well, you decide if it was worth it. After this shift, Iran locked in contracts with Russia to receive 60 Su-35s and 48 Su-30s, with some of these jets even being assembled inside Iran. But the real transformation doesn't come from the jets themselves, it comes from the weapons that accompany them. The R-77M is a perfect example, a modernized missile with a range of about 205 kilometers, far outranging America's AIM-120C used by Israel. What makes it terrifying is its two-stage rocket booster. The second boost ignites only a few kilometers from the target, giving the missile a kill probability as high as 94%. One shot. One kill. But even that is nothing compared to the R-37M, a true monster of the skies. A hypersonic air-to-air missile capable of hitting targets at 400 kilometers, the longest range of any air-to-air missile in the world. With it, Iran can strike Israeli fighters, AWACS aircraft, or even American refueling tankers from the skies of another country, without ever approaching its own borders. And surprisingly, this is still not the most important part, because Russia isn't just selling jets, they're opening the black box. Iran will receive access to the source code of these aircraft, meaning Iran can integrate its own hypersonic missiles directly onto Russian platforms. This instantly makes Iranian hypersonic weapons about 30% faster, 40 to 60% longer range, and far more precise because they can use fighter jet radars in real time instead of relying on satellite snapshots. It's a massive leap towards surgical strikes with pinpoint accuracy, and yet Iran is still only halfway through its overall plan. Iran also finalized a $10 billion agreement with Russia to produce the Su-75 Checkmate domestically, a fifth-generation stealth fighter. Compared to Israel's F-35, the Su-75 has nearly double the range, around 1,800 kilometers, enough for Iran to reach Israel without refueling. It flies faster at Mach 2, carries more missiles internally, and costs about half the price of an F-35, meaning Iran can afford them in far greater numbers. But the biggest shock came when Russian media publicly confirmed that Iran will also join the Su-57 program, the same jet that destroyed a Ukrainian aircraft from a distance of 340 kilometers. No wonder the US calls the Su-57 the felon. With this shift, Iran is positioning itself to build and operate a large fleet of advanced fighters, a leap that would have seemed impossible just a decade ago. And yet, even after all of this, Iran still needs more jets, and fast, which is why they've quietly turned toward another superpower. There is one country that has recently pulled a lot of Iran's attention, a country that is constantly in conflict with Israel's closest friend. Pakistan and India have clashed for decades, but their most recent confrontations revealed something shocking. Pakistan made the right choice when it signed major military contracts with China. Chinese weapons absolutely crushed India's systems, including the Rafale, the most powerful fourth-generation fighter jet in NATO's arsenal. Yet China's mid-tier J-10C went head-to-head with it and won. And guess who else wants this fighter jet? Iran. Because Iran needs jets fast. With tensions rising and Israel pushing the region toward conflict, Iran can't wait 10 years for deliveries. China can deliver faster than Russia, which is why Iran is acquiring 48 J-10Cs. But the number shows something. Iran isn't fully convinced yet. In my opinion, Iran should trust this jet 100% and immediately move toward full production of at least 120 units inside the country. The J-10C is cheap, reliable, and loaded with cutting-edge technology. Its helmet-mounted display lets the pilot see all information directly inside the visor and even lock onto targets just by looking at them. But that's only the beginning. The J-10C comes with powerful jamming and electronic warfare systems, strong enough to blind the Rafale's radar, which means Israeli jets would be even easier to neutralize. And then comes its most dangerous weapon, the PL-15 missile. Think of it like China's answer to Russia's R-77M, but with an extra 100 kilometers of reach. This missile can hit targets at around 300 kilometers, with a dual-stage rocket booster that gives it the speed and energy to chase down anything. It can even be guided by AWACS aircraft or ground-based air defense units. Now you understand why Iran is also interested in China's HQ-9 air defense system and Chinese AWACS platforms. And the real crown jewel? China's J-35. The stealth fighter that many believe Iran is already negotiating to purchase. Right now, it may be the most advanced aircraft Iran can realistically acquire. Don't get me wrong, the Russian Su-57 is a monster, but Russia struggles to produce it in high numbers. The J-35, with a range of around 1,400 kilometers, 6 internal air-to-air missiles, and a price tag nearly 40% lower than an F-35, is shaping up to dominate the future fighter market. And Iran sees that future coming fast. But Iran isn't stopping here. Behind the scenes, they are trying to revive their indigenous fighter jet program, and rumors of a homegrown fifth-generation aircraft continue to circulate. And honestly, when you look at Iran's achievements, producing 2 stealth drones, one based on the American RQ-170 and the other being the mysterious F-13, it's not impossible. Iran clearly has the knowledge to design advanced stealth systems. What takes time is the infrastructure, the heavy industry, the decades of development needed to mass-produce fighter jets at scale. This is why Iran's long-term plan focuses on acquiring around 300 modern fighters and supporting them with AWACS. With that combination, Iran can completely flip the balance of power in the sky against both America and Israel. If you agree, give this video a like and consider joining our Telegram channel using the link below. Remember, Israel is paying influencers thousands of dollars to spread lies, so subscribing is free and it helps us fight back against the Western media narrative. Thank you for your support as always. This is Eastwind Brigade, where our voices unite and we rise together.